Welcome, friends. This is Brevity Sports, coming at you from our caves where we talk major news in major sports. Here with my co-host, Big Z, and myself, Fredo Lay. What is up, everybody? It is your boy, Fredo Lay. We are back. We are here. We are so excited. It is Brevity Sports, and the playoffs have been popping off. I'm telling you, if you are not watching the playoffs, you are missing out. The Sixers, absolutely heartbroken. Everybody thinks this is the moment. Doc Rivers, he's finally got the team. They're doing it. They're taking it to the Celtics. Nothing. They're going home. They're going home. They gone. Miami Heat, let everybody know, really? You picked this dude over me? You picked this dude over me? I'm him. I'm that dude. Miami Heat, they're moving on. They're doing their thing. The Lakers, everybody doubted them. They're moving on. The Nuggets, overlooked by everybody. I got their name wrong on like our second podcast, and here they are. They're moving on. The NHL, it's wild. The Panthers, who saw that coming? They're there. I'll tell you what, they're there. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals. I didn't see it coming. Nope. I had Boston and I think the Maple Leafs. Well, they're sitting at home. They're sitting at home on the Western side. The Oilers just managed to blow it again. Possibly the greatest choke artist. They're honestly, the Oilers are like the Cowboys of the NHL. Consistent choke artists. Like the Oilers every year, they're supposed to be good.
I wouldn't go that low, dude. That's a low blow. That's a very low blow.
To the Oilers?
To the Oilers. Yeah.
Jason is somewhere so mad right now. The Strowman Showman is somewhere so mad right now. I'm joined as always by my boy Big Z. Say hi to the people, Big Z.
Hey guys, let me tell you guys, I'm feeling very inspired. I watched the new movie Air last night. It came out on Amazon Prime. And it's the story of how Nike got MJ to sign with him. And it really gets you, man. Sonny Vaccaro, who was the guy who did the pitch to MJ and who had the whole idea, he says a speech while he's making his pitch to MJ, and it gave me goosebumps. And I was like, I'm gonna go kick tomorrow's butt at everything I do, every single thing I do. I'm gonna get them to sign with me, whatever it is. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the thing. It was cool, man. I loved it. Have you seen it? I
can't wait to watch it. I need to watch it.
It's on.
I didn't know it was on Amazon Prime, so now I'm gonna go watch it.
2 days ago.
Now I'm going to watch it. I had no idea.
You don't have to.
I will say though, every time that I see Matt Damon act, some small part of me is like, "Oh my God, it's Jason Bourne!" Like Jason Bourne,
bro.
He's on a loose.
He Jason Bourne the Sonny Vaccaro.
I mean, if he got MJ, he's for sure Jason Bourne.
It was amazing, and Ben Affleck. The way he played Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike, bro, this won't ruin anything for you, but the dude's a weirdo. I did not know Phil Knight was like that. But yeah, it's a great movie. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. It's just a good old sports movie. And Viola Davis, who played Michael Jordan's mom, was fantastic. Everyone was fantastic.
She's always fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, she's great. She's great. So yeah. Go watch it this week sometime when you get a chance. I'm
going to have to. We got a great episode coming for you tonight. We're talking a little bit of NFL. We're talking some NBA, NHL, and we're going to wrap it up. Of course, some MLB. Season is full swing. We got plenty of sports coming at you tonight. Kicking right off, right? Matt Ryan. I don't know if you know who this guy is. Once upon a time, played for the Atlanta Falcons. He almost won a Super Bowl. He was up 28-3. He lost to the GOAT, Tom Brady. That is like the highlight of his career, losing to the GOAT. Listen, went to the Colts. And now he's going to CBS. But Big Z, he would like you to know, this is not a retirement post. This is not a retirement post. He is very willing to play. Just nobody wants him. But CBS wants him. So I don't know. How do we feel about that? Is that kind of it's slightly awkward? Like, maybe come up with something to say like, hey, we had a good run.
It really is. It is awkward, man. The dude had 28 turnovers last year. He had 15 fumbles,
so many turnovers,
13 interceptions, and I just don't know what he's waiting for. I just feel like he's really stretching. He really doesn't want it to end, but everyone else around him knows it's time, and he's just not willing to accept the fact that he sucks. He absolutely sucks. I think he's waiting for a 49ers type of situation to happen where like all their QBs get hurt and they're forced to sign someone on the roster in the playoffs or right before the playoffs start. I think he's just waiting for that because it's happened before. But what value do you bring to a team except your name? Like that's really it. Like
That's
jersey sales, season ticket sales, butts in the seat. But that's really it. The guy cannot play. You should just admit it's over. He had a great career. He's like
great career.
He's the leader in the Falcons for all their stats and their history. It sucks that he never won. He blew that game against Tom Brady, but it is what it is, man. Just go on, figure it out, and have fun in CBS. Look at Tony Romo. The guy, he finally admitted that he sucked. I'm on the Cowboys. I'm not going to go anywhere. No one else wants me because of the Cowboys ruined my career. So I'm just going to do the thing with CBS, and look at him. He's doing good.
Yeah. Doing great.
It's time.
He's doing great. Man. Accept it. Just tell him like, hey, I'm retired. And then if somebody calls you out of retirement, just do the right thing. Do the Brett Favre. You know what? I thought I was done. I'm not done. Do the Tom Brady. I thought I was done. Right. I decided I want to win a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. What are you going to do? Right? Like, just do one of those guys. Like, hey, I'm done. Oh, JK, I'm not done. Right? But at least come up with something, because now it's confirmed what we all think, right? Like, where before we'd be left guessing, like, is it because nobody wants him? Now we know nobody wants you because you're openly saying, I'm not retired. I would still like to play NFL football, but you can't find a team. Right. Like, it makes it significantly more awkward, way more awkward in my opinion.
It makes us sad because he just can't accept the truth.
Well, you tell me what emotions we're feeling, because either we're feeling super sad or mad respect or mad disappointment with Stetson Bennett. I don't know if you heard this, Big Z. This guy, Stetson Bennett, was at Georgia for like 7 years, almost a decade, like majority of a decade. This guy was in school. Yeah. And he somehow didn't graduate. Like, this is the Will Ferrell of old school. Like, this is the Godfather. Like, how do you go to university for 7 years and not graduate? Like, I'm Big Z. What are we taking away from this?
You sent me this. I never heard of this. You sent me this today. I was baffled. There's a lot of people that go to school, 5-6 years, they're just kind of prolonging things, taking a few credits here and there. But this guy, he fully took advantage of the system. He probably took advantage of the 2020 season. So that you got to have his NCAA eligibility expanded for an extra year. It's kind of crazy, man. He's 25 years old. He's
25.
He's older than Jalen Hurts almost, which is crazy. So
yeah,
the only thing that's valuable in this situation for him is that age is really good. It plays very well in the NFL. The better you are, the more experience you have in college, the better you are. Statistically, historically, look at Brock Purdy. No one thought he was going to do well, but he was a 4-year starter at Iowa State, right? So he came in because he had the reps and he surprised everyone and he did really well. I'm not saying that Stetson Bennett is going to dethrone Matthew Stafford this year, but he's going to be the second string guy. And yeah, I think that he's going to get a shot, and you never know. He played on Georgia. Like, he's won championships with Georgia, the Bulldogs. It's a great team, the best conference in the in NCAA football. So I think his age bodes well for him, but it is just kind of funny that he still hasn't graduated yet, even though he was there for 7 years. Like, he still hasn't graduated. You think he would have graduated after year 7, but I guess
at least get a degree in communications. At least get something, And if you did graduate and this report is false, we apologize to you. But it was pretty funny.
But how?
At the end of the day, here's the thing. I don't know how more NFL teams don't put more onus on how many games somebody started. Like, when we talked about Richardson from Florida, right? This guy started one season and didn't do well. He's not seen a ton of defenses. He's not seen a ton of strategies. Teams have not game planned for him. If I'm an NFL team, just me personally, if somebody has not started for 2 years, I'm not getting them. I'm not getting it. And here's why. How many times have we seen a crazy talent that comes in, nobody could stop him, and then defenses have a year to look at them, adjust the game plan, and all of a sudden this guy's no longer valid. It's the same thing in college football, right? Like give teams a year to adjust based on who somebody is, right. And then they're a dog. We knew Joe Burrow was going to be a dog because teams had seen him for multiple years and he was able to figure it out, still able to win national championships. We knew that at some point, given the right coach, Trevor Lawrence would be a dog because everybody watched him ball at Clemson and he kept winning and winning and winning and winning. And here we are now, all of a sudden the Jaguars are one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Jaguars are supposed to be one of the best teams because we knew, but it's amazing to me that somebody like Stetson Bennett, like, although it's really funny and we brought this up in a very humorous way, like he didn't graduate, which is slightly sad, but regardless, like the amount of starts that he had, teams were able to game plan for his skill set and he was still able to win.
Right.
Like that says a lot when teams are able to game plan for you and you can still get that W when they know what you can do, when they can watch film on you, when they can see that you like to roll right or roll left or pass off of this foot or pass off of that foot, when they can actually see that and game plan for you. And then you go to the suit, like the NFL. It's amazing to me that there's not more onus given that. And I'll be honest with you, I did not do my homework before you and I started talking about Brock Purdy. And I'll never forget when you told me, oh yeah, he started all 4 years at Iowa. I was like, wait. So he's good. And you were like, yeah. I was like, well, what is the NFL? Like, of course he's going to. And then everybody's shocked when he came in and says, wow, it looks like he's been here before. Wow. It looks like he's ready to go. Wow. Yeah, because he's been a starter for 4 years. He's seen it all.
Yeah. He won a Big 12 championship. Yeah.
Right. Granted, the NFL is bigger, faster, stronger. 100%. I'm not saying college football comparatively is on the same level, right? Like a handful of guys, if you're lucky, make it from your team to the NFL, right. Maybe 2, right? Like I'm not saying that it's comparable in that sense. What I am saying is that this guy knows what it is to come into big scenarios that you cannot practice, right? Like we saw it tonight, right? I'll be honest with you, but my son can't not talk about him because I love him so much. He's in the playoffs right now for his little league team in AAA. They got a big game going on. The coach hits us up. It's like, hey, Jaden's starting. I'm like, oh, snap, son. Like, this is real. And in the backyard, we can throw pitches all day long. Right. We can throw pitches. But when you're in the playoffs and the banners are flying, the moms are yelling, they're like, yeah, and it's getting crazy, that's when you find out, what has he got? Can he rely on all of his training? Can he rely on all of his practice? And for me, that's what it's like in college football. When you start 4 years, he has been in big moments. And when you're in those big moments, that is going to transfer well to the NFL. I realized I went down a big rabbit hole there, but regardless, I liked him. Honestly, when the Rams got him in the 4th round, I was like, you know what? He's better than Baker. So I'll take him 100%. Let's get him out there. Yeah, Wolford can't stay healthy. Wolford cannot stay healthy. Let's get him out there.
It shows also not the fact that he can do well on the field and play at a very high level in the SEC and these big games, national championships, all that, but also on the back end, the stuff that people don't see, right? In the film room, studying film. Hey, look, what did this team adjust to me last time? I'm going to readjust and do something else this next time that we play them. That's also very beneficial. You see, the quarterbacks that do well in the NFL are the ones who steady their butts off every single day. They're the first one there and the last one to leave. And Sean McVay is a very good grader of character and someone who's going to work their butts off. And I think that this shows that he has the faith that Stetson Bennett could be that guy for them. And if you put anyone in Sean McVay's offense, I mean, Baker Mayfield looked like a stud in Sean McVay's offense. So I can't even imagine what Stetson Bennett is going to look like after a year of getting that playbook, getting to be behind Matthew Stafford, a really good veteran quarterback, and just being able to absorb everything from Sean McVay, who is one of the smartest people in all the NFL. I think that you guys got to steal. I honestly do.
And I'd like to believe Matthew Stafford had something to do with this. Fellow Bulldog, ran into each other. Yeah. Matthew's been around the kid, clearly likes him to be in the same quarterback room. Like Matthew Stafford is our guy, right? They're not going to go get somebody that Matthew Stafford's not cool with or okay with on some level. So it says a lot. Moving right along, there's this big thing happening called the NBA Conference Finals. This is it, dude. This is the Western, this is the Eastern Finals. It's teams that, quite frankly, you and I saw coming, right? I was listening back to our podcast. And you told everybody that Tatum was a dog, that dude was going to ball.
Yeah.
That dude was the truth. You said it. And you said the Sixers might pull it out because you picked them. So you stood by your pick in your defense, but you made the point to tell everybody this is the guy. And you said in our podcast, go back and listen, people. I'm not making this up. We keep the receipts here. You said he was the more clutch between him and Brown. And I think 51 points proves that, Big Z. Well, what? I mean, now we got the Celtics, the Heat. Come on now.
Can we talk about that 51 points performance last night? That was
wild,
incredible. Jason Tatum, if you guys don't know, he modeled his game after Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was his idol. And as a Laker fan, I see Kobe in him, the way he goes up for his shots, the way he finishes, the way when he gets in that mentality that this is my court, I'm going to win this game.
Yep.
I see so much Kobe in him. So that was, and even though he's on the Celtics, it was very enjoyable to see Jason Tatum do what he did last night.
Yep.
Like we said, last podcast, the only reason why I was sticking with the Sixers was because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are two very alike superstars who play very alike. They have very similar styles. And there wasn't really, Jason Tatum hadn't really taken that, the full throttle and just say, no, I'm going to take control of this game. I'm going to do what I know I can do. I'm the clutch one. This is my team. Right. And if he did that, I believe that they can make the finals. In this playoffs, he's shown that he is the guy. He's averaging 28 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He's taken his game up another level. Yesterday was no different. He took shots over Embiid. He was shooting over Harden. He drived it and he kicked it out to Jaylen Brown. He was doing the right thing, the right moves at the right time. When he's going, you cannot stop him. So that was definitely a joy to watch. Another big thing for this series that I really think it comes down to is the coaching staffs. Eric Spoelstra for the Heat. I think this is the advantage where the Heat have over the Celtics. Spoelstra has been there. He's been the Heat coach for, since LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh were together. And Mazzulla on the Celtics, he's a rookie. And there's nothing, against that. He just hasn't gone through the trials that Eric Spoelstra has. Mazzulla has been, really berated on by the media because he doesn't call timeouts in clutch situations where he probably should call timeouts, right? Yep. Spoelstra does the right thing. He does the right call. His players believe in him. And right now, Mazzulla kind of has a big question mark over his head whether or not his players actually believe in him. So that's the one thing that I believe the Heat have an advantage over the Celtics here in this series. I think that Jimmy Butler is great, but I do think that him and Jason Tatum kind of cancel each other out. And it really comes down to the adjustments and the coaching staffs in this series. I'm taking the Celtics in 7, and that's a lot of respect to the Heat because the Heat are the 8th seed. I don't think that they should be here. I just think that they're in a really good run right now because Jimmy Butler has been carrying them, but I don't think that they're the best team in the East. I think the Sixers are better than them, all that stuff, but they got here. They did what they needed to do. They took care of their business, and I'm respecting them enough to say that they're going to lose in 7. I'm taking the Celtics.
I'm going to paint you a scenario. And this to me is the most Mamba mentality thing about Tatum. And this is why I love this guy. And I'm still upset the Lakers let him fall to number 2. And they went and got Lonzo Ball. I'm still upset about that. Terrible. Go back, do your homework, kids. The Lakers missed out. Listen, this guy listened for 2 days as everybody talked about Jimmy Butler was the last Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan-esque player in the league. That was a headline from ESPN, that Jimmy Butler was the last lethal mentality guy. And this guy has to listen as he's modeled his game, as you mentioned, after Kobe. It was his idol. He's been very forthright in saying that. He's very open about saying that he modeled his game after Kobe. And he's got to hear that. Right. And this dude comes out and says, you want the Mamba? I got it right here for you. I got 51 points in a game 7 because I am the Mamba. I'm Mamba part dos. I'm the next one. I'm modeling my game. All respect to Kobe Bryant. and now I'm going to play like it. And that is lethal to me. That mentality was just incredible that this guy went out and balled the way that he did. And 100% Big Z, I could not agree more with you. I will say I give the Heat a little less credit. I think the Celtics probably take this in 6. And I will say, look, the Heat are going to win some games. Okay. And that's mad respect because the Celtics have the better roster. With the injuries right now that the Heat are carrying, the Celtics have the better roster hands down. But I will say Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler will get them a couple W's. Like that is what's going to happen. But in terms of like Marcus Smart, when you look at Smart, Brown, Tatum, when you look at the guys the Celtics got running around the court, they're just better than the guys that are across from them. I just don't see I don't see the Heat being able to beat this team. I think the Celtics come through to represent the East, which is what I picked to begin with.
You did.
And of course, I'm going to ride with it in this next one because you know I am. So I'm going to let you go first and then we'll leave them in suspense, but we got the Nuggets and we got the Lakers. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be easy.
I got Lakers in 4. I'm just kidding. I got the Lakers in 6. It's not a homer take, guys. It's not a homer take. We got the top defense in the Lakers versus the top offense in the league in the Nuggets.
Yep.
I think that this is going to be a really, really good series. I think the X factor here of course, it comes down to Anthony Davis versus Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic has actually had struggles against Anthony Davis in his career. He's averages only 18 and a half points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. And some people say, well, that's really, really good, right? But this guy averaged a triple-double all season. In the playoffs, he's been averaging in the high 20s. He scored 53 points in a loss last series against the Suns.
Right.
He's been their guy. So I really think that Anthony Davis is the guy who's going to be able to stop him because, in my opinion, Anthony Davis is the best defender in this league, on this planet. The way when he's engaged on defense, no one can get through him. Also, when he plays against Jokic, he averages 25.6 points and 8.6 rebounds. So the guy knows how to play Jokic. And so I really think that they kind of cancel each other out. And it really comes down to, at the end of the day, it's our second best players. It's LeBron versus Murray. And I don't know if you all know this. And as a Laker fan today, I was watching The Herd and Colin was talking about LeBron's stats in the playoffs. LeBron is averaging 24 points on 50% shooting, 10 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. The only other 2 players to average those numbers in this playoffs this year is Jokic and Tatum. So LeBron is right there up there with those guys. And I don't think that Murray has that consistency. Murray is a very boom or bust type of player. He's very great when he's booming, he's doing his thing, he's hitting the threes when he's really feeling it. But I do think that guys have the ability to get in his head. And I really think that he struggles when that happens, especially on the road. So I'm taking the Lakers in 6. It comes down to that defense. The defense is smothering. The Warriors could not do anything against it. And the Lakers, like we said last series, they have a roster. They have so many guys who can beat you, whether it's Reeves, D'Lo, Rui Hachimura, Dennis Schroeder. And yes, the Nuggets have a great roster too, but I just think the defense is really going to suffocate a lot of those guys, and the Lakers are going to come out on top.
Yeah, 100%. And I know this is going to come off as slightly disrespectful. Like, I know it is. I know that there's going to be a Nuggets fan out there who hears my take and they're just like, man, come on, dude, you're just hating. Look, I like KCP. KCP's a dog. I like him a lot for the Nuggets. He's great. Scored 21 points in their big win. Okay. Here's the bottom line. Murray and Jokic have been balling. 26 points, 32 points. They've been absolutely balling. Okay. And the Suns had to play outside of themselves, right? Look, when we talked about what Booker was doing, the fact that he would go off for as many points as he was while shooting like 80% from the floor, like he was never going to keep that going. Like that at some point it was going to crumble, and it did. They had too many injuries, Chris Paul or whatever you blame there, whatever it is that you're holding on to as to why they went down. Regardless, here's the thing. The reason, and again, this is not a homer take. It might seem like a homer take. The reason the Lakers are going to win again is because, for the very same reason, the Warriors also had no answer.
Right.
One night, right, it was a sub who beat him, right? One night, it was Reeves who beat him. One night, It was Davis who beat him one night. It was LeBron who beat him one night. You name that player, and the Lakers were able to provide that depth that is so rare, especially right now, even for a team like the Nuggets, right? And the Nuggets do have a bit more depth than some of these other teams the Lakers have played. But when you look at what the Lakers have been able to do, it's absolutely incomparable, right? When you look at some of the guys who have stepped up in massive moments, they just have too many weapons, including Schroeder, right? Like being able to get into Green's head. Like when you look at all of these pieces, right? When you look at the fact that even against the Warriors, right? I apologize. The point guard, I'm blanking on Russell.
D'Angelo Russell. Yes.
D'Angelo Russell. He did not have a good series. He had a terrible series, and they still won. Right. The Lakers still won. Like LeBron is doing great. Anthony Davis doing great. I will say right now, if Anthony Davis and Jokic if they can cancel each other out, the Lakers have this. Lakers have this
easy.
So
pretty easy.
Yeah, if Anthony Davis and him can cancel each other out, the Lakers can absolutely dominate the series, and I think it would surprise a lot of people. Now, Jokic, I'm giving him that respect. I do think the Lakers, this probably goes like 6 games-ish, somewhere in that vicinity. I'm going 6 games again. But if Anthony Davis cancels him out, I mean, this thing could be over quick because Murray is just not going to be able to shoot with some of the guys that we got over here coming from the Lakers. I'm just going to be honest with you.
We're too big.
And again,
we're
too big.
Yeah.
Too big, too long. Just like the Lakers, was it a good series with the Warriors? Yes. Ultimately, it was over in 6, right?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Ultimately, it was over in 6. And again, just the depth that the Lakers have, it's hard to contend with, right? It's just hard for other teams. And when you haven't seen it, like Reeves, right? Reeves should not be as good as he is, but he gets to the whole Vanderbilt with his just defense that is absolutely insane. And then you got a guy like Walker that we all saw, what was in game 3 or 4 against the Warriors, who just came on and just absolutely balled. The Lakers have that depth. It's setting up exactly what it needs to be, which is the Lakers Celtics finals, baby. It's going to bring back basketball. It's going to bring back the ratings. It's going to be sick, and the referees are going to stay out of the way. The referees are going to stay out of the way, and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I got the Lakers in 6. I got the Celtics in 6, and I'm sure Heat fans and Nuggets fans everywhere are just so mad. But that's what I got. So
keep listening.
What am I going to do?
Keep listening.
What am I going to do? Keep listening. Go ahead, prove us wrong.
Yeah,
comment on our stuff. Tell us. Let us know how wrong we were.
We love Jimmy, though. We love Jimmy G Buckets.
I love me some Jimmy G Buckets. I also love me some Kraken. And they're going home too. So, I don't know what I'm talking about at all. The Kraken are going home. The Stars get that W. They got that W today. Again, relying on their veterans. They win they beat the Kraken 2-1. They do it. They crushed it. They did it. All respect to them.
7 games, though. That's pretty impressive for the Kraken.
7 games.
I mean,
7 games.
Their first year in existence, man. It's pretty impressive that they did that.
I'm not going to look. I'm impressed by the Kraken. They got dope jerseys. I'm not going to lie to you. Their jerseys might be the best in the NHL. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to put that out there. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I like the Stars, but what I just saw from the Knights, their ability to go into Edmonton and do what very few have been able to do. Hand the Oilers another choking season, right? All we heard all year long was that the Oilers had the best offense in hockey. They had the best power play by far. By far, they had the best power play. These guys, they had the best hockey player on the planet, on the entire planet, and Connor McDavid. At some point, when you look at a guy like Draisaitl, when you look at a guy like Connor McDavid, when you look at the pieces that were around the Oilers, I mean,
well, let me tell you the reason they lost. And it's because McDavid's not a winner. Listen to his comments after the game. He says that losing is part of the journey to getting to a championship, instead of actually owning it and saying, we screwed up, we choked, we need to get better. He says that all the championship teams have gone through this. You have to lose a few series in the playoffs before you can actually win the championship. I'm sorry. Did that happen to the Kansas City Royals? No. They lost one time in the World Series, and then they came back and won the next year. Did that happen to the Houston Astros? No. They cheated, but they still won. Like
Right.
there's teams that just come out of nowhere and they win. They win the first time they get there. So that's why, in my mind, that this team doesn't have it with its current construction. They need to get a new coach. They need to change the way that they speak to their players, because if you're going to have that mentality and just give yourself an out when it happens, when you lose, you're not going to win anything. The NHL, these guys, every single team wants to win. It's their dream to drink out the Stanley Cup, to hold that Stanley Cup high. And when you say, it's just part of the journey, we'll come back at you next year. If I'm an Oiler fan, I'm pissed off. That's not what I want my superstar to say. That there's no accountability there, and that's really stupid. So that's why they didn't win.
And that's really stupid. That's why they didn't win. Look, the bottom line is they choked. You can talk all day long about about the journey. This was a massive choke job. Again, when you look at the offense that they had, when you look at the points that they were able to put up, when you look at the things they were able to do this season, last year, it was supposed to be their year. The year before is supposed to be their year. Years ago, when they were amassing number one pick after number one pick, first round pick after first round pick, and they were getting Connor McDavid, when they're getting these guys, and it's never panned out. They choked. And the Knights took advantage. And let's not pretend this thing was close. The Knights were up. They scored 3 goals in the second period. Right. They were up 4-2 heading into the third. It wasn't like this was like super close.
They scored in the first minute.
Oh my goodness. Right. Like, again, when you are the Oilers, there is no other way to view this season as utter failure, utter incompetence. You beat the Kings. You did it. Right. The Kings are in shambles. They got older players, aging players. They don't have the pieces. It was what it is. But you played a team like the Knights. The Knights beat you. And now, in my opinion, the way is paved. The Knights are going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Look, book it, chalk it up right here, Brevity Sports. I'm telling you, the Knights are going to the finals. I like the Stars. I got all the respect. I'm rooting for the Stars. Do not mishear me. I hope with all my heart the Stars take this in 5. They blitz the heck out of the Knights, and they just like take the first 3 games while the Knights are like reeling and figuring out who they are. But if this thing goes 7, it's absolutely the Knights. The Knights are a better team. They're deeper. They're faster. They're stronger. Any way you want to slice this thing, the Knights have it. They have depth beyond depth beyond depth. We talked about it earlier before the podcast. Jonathan Quick's not even playing for this team. He had a 9.3 something save average heading into this. Like, he's been great. The Knights have all the depth in the world. They've shown that they're scrappy. The Oilers tried to push them around. The Knights said, no, you're not going to push us around. If we've got to slash you and take a suspension, we're going to play. The Knights are absolutely coming through this side. Who do you got? Who you got coming through the Western Conference?
The Knights. They just look like, it's their moment. They're just playing so well. And Jonathan Quick, man, that he's the guy. He's the guy in the locker room. He's the championship guy that they needed to get them over the hump. So I love that you're holding on to that. On the other side, so the Kings win no matter what. That's right. That's right, baby. That's right, baby. We got on the other side, we got Natchez versus Kachuk. It's supposed to be a big series. Kachuk. Look, we got Florida and the Hurricanes. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't think of a worst possible scenario for the NHL. Like, when the Eastern Conference started, when the Eastern Conference playoffs started, you had massive teams. You had Boston, like the mecca of hockey, right? Like, you don't need to know anything about hockey to know that Minnesota and Boston hate each other, and there's some sort of massive rivalry amongst their colleges, amongst their players. Apparently, Herb Brooks at one point coached at one of them, right? And then he went on to coach Miracle, right? The USA team. And he made all the players hate him because he knew he had a bunch of players from both schools. Look, like, these teams don't like each other. You got the Maple Leafs. It's like, again, like one of the most storied franchises. And here you are, you're at the NHL, and you got the Panthers and the Hurricanes. You got to pray that Dallas somehow gets through this. I mean, I don't know. The Knights will draw a crowd. But I mean, I'm going to go for the Panthers. They aren't even supposed to be here. I'm pulling for the Panthers. Yeah. I hope they win. I hope they win in 5. I hope they win in 5. And then we could see the Knights or the Stars are going to win their first Stanley Cup. I don't think the Stars have won a Stanley Cup. I don't think the Knights have won a Stanley Cup. I know the Knights haven't won a Stanley Cup. I think the Stars won one in 99 or something. Is that what it was? Or maybe they went to one in 99. I don't know. Something like that. I know the Knights have not won a Stanley Cup. The Knights did not win. No. The Knights now.
The Knights have never won a Stanley Cup. And so I think they're going to get it. I mean, all the stars are aligned. And again, I don't believe in either of these teams. I really don't. You're right. They do have one Stanley Cup. The Dallas Stars have one Stanley Cup, 1998 through 1999. So the Dallas Stars are going to get their second, or the Knights are going to get their first. I think the Western Conference Finals, whoever rolls through that, it's going to win. It's a lot like the last time when my Kings won in 2014, and everybody said the same exact thing. Whoever came through, the Kings or the Blackhawks, was going to take the Stanley Cup. Kind of the same deal. I got whoever comes out of the West.
I'm taking the Panthers.
I think it's probably you're taking the Panthers all the way.
Yeah, bro. Like that's more like the Kings. Like a team just clawing their way. Like no one was taking them. A low seed. They beat the Bruins, dude. Like the best team in NHL history. They
beat the Bruins
in the regular season. But so I'm taking the Panthers.
Attaboy. I love it.
Let's go.
I love it. I'll tell you who a lot of people took. Tell me. Going over to baseball. A lot of people took the Padres. A lot of people. And if you're on YouTube, you see my shirt. I'm enjoying this take a little bit of homer take. A lot of people picked the Padres.
Unfortunate, man.
A lot of people said the Padres are going to win 110 games. Padres are going to win 106 games. Padres are sub 500. They decided to flash a meme of Clayton Kershaw, who has more Cy Youngs and MVPs their entire franchise. Who cares? It's neither here nor there. They decided that they were going to do some things, and they're struggling. And honestly,
look like crap.
Don't get me wrong. I want to talk about the Padres struggling as a Dodger fan, but we're not a Dodger podcast. But as an MLB podcast, when I looked at the teams that are doing well and not doing well, because a lot of people right now are trying to trash the Yankees, right? Like there's a lot of reports coming out that the Yankees, how could the Yankees be so bad? Oh, what's going on with the Yankees? The Yankees are in the best division in baseball. The Tampa Bay Rays are 31-11. Baltimore is 26-15, which, by the way, if these two teams are in any other division, they're competing for first place, right? So like either of those teams competing for first place. Toronto, respectable 24-17. The Yankees are 24-19, right? Again, in any other division, they're either in first or second place. Right. So to me, the Yankees are more a victim of where they're located at the moment. And as of right now, I mean, they're the wild card, right? There'd be teams coming out of that division. Right. There'd be 3 teams coming out of the division total, the division winner and the wild card. So I'm not calling the Yankees a bust, right? Oakland, we never expected them to be good. The Angels are doing well. But when I look at teams that are supposed to be amazing, the only team that could even remotely compare is the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I don't know what's going on. The Cardinals are an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah.
They did not come out, but they didn't come into the year with the hype that the Padres did. That's my point. Right. The Padres were hyped, dude. Come on.
But yeah. Well, look, they got Bogarts from Boston. Tatis is coming back. You had another year of Machado just re-signed a contract extension. Soto, he's going to, he's going to come back and beat the Soto that we all know and do his little swagger at the plate, whatever it is. And they just haven't done it. I really think it's an issue of Fernando Tatis. I really think that he's just kind of like how Russell Westbrook was with the Lakers. Just what they call him, like a vampire in the locker room, and just a sickness and a virus in the locker room, and no one really could get rid of him. And it was just a toxic situation. I really think that's what that is. What's going on here? They've lost 5 of 6 to the Dodgers already this season. They've lost 7 out of the last 10 games. This is what happens. People think that you can just put a team together of superstars and that they're just going to do so well and that they're going to win the World Series so easily. And yet the opposite always happens. And when do you learn? When does the little brother learn from the big brother, the Dodgers, that is not what happens? You have to build your team from the farm organically, naturally. That's why the Dodgers are so good, right? They don't buy their talent. They don't buy their wins. They grow their guys and get a free agent here or there. The Padres just think that they can just get these superstars put them together and that they're going to mesh and they're going to gel and that they're going to win the World Series. And it doesn't work like that. And unfortunately, if they don't turn it around within the next month, I think Bob Melvin's going to be fired because he's a great manager. And I thought that he could really speak through these guys' thick heads, but it's just not working. Manny Machado's hitting like in the 240s. Bogarts is doing okay, but it's just not what Xander Bogaerts usually does. And Tatis plays in right field, and he looks like worse than Soto. He looks like trash. He cannot field. He cannot do anything, and he needs to go to a team that he can play his natural position of shortstop. But they need something. They need a culture change because they look really bad, man. It does not look like they gel. It doesn't look natural. It just looks like they kind of forced together a team.
The most telling series of this season so far for the Padres was not even this most recent. And this is what I would bring up if this was a homer take. I'd bring this up that the Dodgers just swept the Padres. So on some level, I guess it's a bit of a homer take. But the most telling game was actually not that the Dodgers just swept the Padres. The most telling game of the series was the Dodgers beating the Padres in extra innings on the back of Michael Busch and James Outman. Right. Two rookies coming from the Dodgers farm system that, again, everybody's freaking out. The Dodgers need to go make a big signing. The Dodgers need to go get this guy. The Dodgers got to go get that guy. And they don't. Instead, they bring up the kids who have been dominating AAA ball, all-stars in AAA, constant winners, and all of a sudden that camaraderie, like you're saying, there was nobody more happy for Michael Busch than James Outman. No one. No one was more happy for these guys than these two. And on some level, Will Smith, because let's not forget, Will Smith a couple years ago, he was right there, right? Like he knew some of these guys or knew of these guys, whatever it was. Again, that is probably the most telling thing when you look at these rosters, when you look at these two teams, like that is so imperative that you get talent that is able to be reproduced for a moderate cost. And if you don't do that, you're going to be in some real trouble. And by the way, Padres fans, if you guys don't figure this out, and I'm not saying you can't, it's only May. This is just an early take. They're struggling. I think the Padres will figure it out. If they don't, you're going to have a massive issue on your hands. Yeah. This is only going to get significantly worse before it gets any kind of better. And I will say, we're not just haters here. The Angels are above 500. The Angels are above 500. They did it. They are competing for a division. Unfortunately, they are in the same division as the Texas Rangers, led by your boy, Corey Seager, and of course, the Houston Trash Dogs. So the Angels are right now, they're 22-20. They are 3.5 games out. Big Z, are the Angels for real? Can they make the playoffs?
Yeah, in the expanded format. Anyone almost can make the playoffs. What the difference is, they're pitching as a team. Their ERA is like 4.3, which is a lot lower than it's been. So that needs to stick around for them to even have a chance. Yep. But like I said, I think that they're going to lose Ohtani out in their offseason unless they somehow miraculously win the World Series. But they're going to be at a tipping point in August or July when the trade deadline comes. They're probably going to be around the same, record, maybe a few games above 500, but only a couple games out of this expanded wildcard spot. And there's no way that they can trade Ohtani in that situation. But they're not bad enough to be like the Oakland A's where they're 9-34 and they can just throw everyone away, right? So they're going to have to keep Ohtani because they're going to want to make a playoff push. And yet they're not going to win the World Series. There's no way. They don't have the team. They don't have the talent. And I know it's baseball. Some crazy things happen, but they don't have that talent. But hey, look, the fact that they're 22-20 right now at this point in the season, May 15th, for their fans, that probably feels like, they're in the playoffs already. So good for them. So it kind of was a hater take on my end because I just make fun of them. But that's just the life and reality of an Angels fan. You're going to be floating around that 500 for the whole season. And that's just how it is. They should be better. They have the guys on offense, but they just seem to they're just not doing it.
Is it a hater take when on some level the entire world agrees with you? Because all we want to see is Mike Trout and Ohtani compete for something that matters. Like that's all anybody wants to see. Yeah, is Mike Trout and Ohtani compete for something that matters. At the end of the day, I hope the Angels keep it up. I hope they figure it out. It's good for baseball to have those two in the postseason, expanded or not, whatever it is. It's good to have them in. They are going to get bounced probably by a very good Yankee team or Boston team or both above 500. And just for some reason, There's in the most stacked division of all time. So it is what it is. This has been a fun episode. Big Z and I made some picks. We got the Celtics. We got the Lakers. We got some fun things going on there. We got the Panthers, the Knights. You know, we're hoping. We're pulling for them. Let's go.
Let's go.
And in Stanley Cup Finals, be watching for that. Come on now. It's going to be fun. The NFL, we touched on that. Big Z, say bye to the people.
Man, you know, you guys just stick with us through this NHL stuff. Like, if you guys haven't listened, I hope that we've been able to help you believe, sway you to watch some games. And if we have, let us know if we were right, or let us know if we were wrong. Talk to us. But I'm going to enjoy game 1 tomorrow night, the Lakers and Nuggets. I think it's going to be a great series. I hope you guys have fun. Thank you guys for listening. You guys are awesome. And hope you guys have a great week.
Have a great night, great week. Whenever you're listening to this, we will keep coming at you. We are Brevity Sports. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We will be with you. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell them to follow us on Instagram at the Brevity Sports, Brevity Sports on Twitter. Follow us, give us the likes, give us the follows, give us the subscribes, whatever it is. We'll end this as we always do with a very simple thank you for listening.